You're listening to Behind Enemy Lines, the podcast, bringing you wargaming news from around the world with your hosts Greg, Damian, and Dan.
Good evening and welcome to episode 59 of the Behind Enemy Lines podcast. I tell you what, we have got a special guest this evening. Right? If you are in the know, then you know.
Are you?
I'm not, no.
Is he doing the thing where he's not talking again?
Yeah.
There we
maybe
go.
muted himself. There he is.
There he is.
Yourself.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. He's been busy.
Hey, it's Dave Mulder.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah. So thanks guys. So I'm essentially the main author of VC on the Trail. I guess we'll talk about that later.
Later soon. Yeah, it'll flow tonight.
And some noob news. So I'll just go. Obviously, we're on social media channels everywhere. We've got a Facebook and a Insta and a Discord and a stuff. So you can come over and have a chat with us and hang out, give us some info, find out what's going on, that kind of stuff. And yeah, if there's stuff you'd like to see there, let us know. Like we're going to start getting some games back on YouTube. We say that every time, but we actually are going to do it. I have a game in the works as we speak, being organised.
Ah, you've almost had a game in the works for a year. Good work, Greg.
Shut up. So look, I'll tell you what. Let's just quickly. This is going to be a bit of a higgledy-piggledy podcast, and I'm not going to tell you why Dan forgot to record his whole. Oh wait, sorry.
I forgot to turn my microphone on for at least the last half an hour. So it's not ideal. It's not a good look, especially especially when I'm talking the most, and you listen. There's like 10 minutes of silence, and then Greg ha ha ha, and Damian like huh, what, and then it's like 10 minutes of silence, and then Greg like ha ha ha, and then Damian what, old man laughs. So not exactly riveting entertainment there, but hey, at least we caught it before we finished the whole podcast. Went to bed, I edited it, and then wanted to die. But yeah, noob news. Damian, spool up that music. See, it sounds like it could be real, like a real recording.
It does not even sound anywhere near like that.
I know. So let's dive in. Let's go to Battlefront first of all. They're having their live launch next Saturday. Yes, next Saturday for the D-Day British. Finally moved off those smelly Team Yankee, World War III British, and we're going into the glory that is D-Day again with their releases. Everything appears, nearly everything appears to be in plastic, and it's looking mighty crisp as plastic is wont to do.
It's really cool stuff that's coming through in that book, which traditional British players will be excited about.
Yeah, it's actually quite long. I had a read of it, and it just keeps going. Like, you think, how big is this book? Yeah. Like, just to give you an idea, and I'll scroll to the end of it because I have a copy here. It's about, if you want to count the pages that have numbers on them.
That's how most people count pages, yeah.
Well, two of them don't have numbers. It's about 97 pages long. A little bit of that is fluff and painting and how to buy their things. But actual list-wise, hang on, let's be an honest reviewer here. Hang on. As an honest reviewer, useful pages, aka pages that contain lists that you can build a noodle, number out of 97 actual pages. A lot of scrolling going on. It's how to paint your tanks. Always important. Need to know how to paint your tanks. Remember, this book is not for you old grognards. It's for us smart kids too. There are 71 pages. 71 pages to build lists from.
Wow.
So
wow, that's pretty good.
There are lots of lists in there. I'm not going to spoil them all for you, but pretty much I don't think you're going to miss out on anything that wasn't in the original British type D-Day books when they came out many moons ago. There was someone who tried to do an all Daimler, and he was upset about his, I think, the tin and teas. That is actually not in here, but I assume it'll either be a card at a later date. For that? Yeah, thanks, Damian. Shut up. But yeah, it's a pretty comprehensive book overall. The haters will hate, as they do with 4th edition, because that's what they're due for, but the people who play it will be like pleasantly surprised that they may be able to actually win with infantry. Spooky. Yeah, because the British
He's on the other line. He's muted himself.
British get a lot of 6-pounders. That's for sure. And to answer a question, someone said, how many crocodiles can I get? The answer is...
It's Adam Brooker from diceofwar.com.au. Thank you very much.
Yeah, someone. He is someone, technically.
Just someone.
You know. You can get 6 crocodiles. So turn your Burninator to 6.
Oh, no, you can't. You can get more if you take 2 formations.
Can you? But because I thought they borrowed from the same spool.
Or maybe they do.
The same support platoon. Because didn't I get penalized? Oh, no, that was Team Yankee. I don't know.
Yankee.
You know what? Take 6, takes 12, whatever. I don't know. It's your game. You play it your way. Yeah, just tell your opponent beforehand. Just bring in 18 crocodiles. It's like, oh, cool. Thanks. Love my life.
That's good.
Yeah, they're pretty good, but they're
Yeah,
not.
they are.
They're pretty. Yeah, they're a big tank with a flamethrower. I was like, oh, you appear to be caught in the open, and they've got a nice anti-tank gun on them, and then they've got that huge front armor at the front. So
Just bomb them because they're top armor 1 instead of top armor 2.
that's right, because they're carrying all that luxurious flames and those trailers behind them.
That's correct.
Yeah, so that's that from Battlefront. Just waiting on my friend to get his copy of the World War III box for the British, so I can do an open box review. But it looks like there was an issue with the delays and the standard and yada yada yada, and viruses around the world causing everyone to fall down dead and not ship stuff to me. So that's life. Hoard toilet paper.
And sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer. Yep. Don't lick your face. Whatever it was. Games Workshop doing coming soon. They want you to come back to their website on the 9th, so that's next Monday. They have a new box set called The Wolf versus the Beast, well, at least I think it is. So it'll be
I don't know if that's what the box set's going to be called. I think that's just
it says
lot.
The Wolf versus the Beast, so it'll be like the fight of Cold Place, because
Unless you're a Space Wolf player or an Orc player, who gives a shit?
Whoa,
Sorry, carry on.
I love how Damian interjects with the most I don't care attitude. You're almost like my brother when he's like, oh, I don't care. It's like, well, thanks for your 5 cents. Get the fuck out.
I'm not the only listener to the show.
Yeah, Damian. Remember, it's not about you. You're here for some reason and we don't know why. Oh, because you won't go away. Oh, the noise. Yeah, the new news starter. I could just push record and that'd be that. So there's no real information about it from the snippets we've seen though. There's that Gazak Karl Thurka model. That's just shut up. You've
got wolf versus orcs, so orcs will be really interesting, and everything that's a wolf will have a wolf in front of its name, so it'll be wolf, wolfty wolf. That's it. And they'll probably introduce a new wolf unit called a wolf.
Probably Primaris wolves.
They have to be Primaris wolves. You can't just be regular wolves.
Primey wolves.
There you go.
Wolf.
But anyway, I've seen what looks like a sculpt for Gazak Thal, and is about the same size as a Hellbrute because it looks like it's built off the same wire model anyway. For the 3-dimensional things. Anyway, we'll quickly skip on from that. Shut up, Damian. All right, and okay. Warlord have got a new Stalingrad box set coming out that appears to have. If you're prepared to pay about £300 for the Enemy at the Gate Stalingrad set collector's edition,
I am prepared.
You will get something like 276 infantry, 4 vehicles, and some assembly acquired, and basically an entire city block worth of terrain as well. So that's quite a lot. So there's at least 4 or 5 Russian armies in there, because 3 or 4 Russian. There's probably 1 Russian army and probably 8 German armies worth of minutes.
If you play Russians in bolt action, how many troops do you have in a standard Russian army?
That's a David Mulder question because he plays Russians.
No, it's a good size for 1,000 points. That's for sure. So you've definitely covered a nice 1,000-point army.
So if you've got 112 infantry figures, as well as that's just your infantry dudes, is that enough?
Yeah, that's a decent amount.
It's just like one platoon of conscripts.
platoon of conscripts, one platoon of shirkers. That's all you need.
Jeez,
There you go.
Louise.
Heard it here first.
Rifleless shirkers.
God.
How many commissars do you need?
One for each squad to shoot them, motivate them. Didn't seem like you get a ton of commissars, so that's interesting to see. But there are it's a ton of stuff, but it's 300 or 295 pounds, which is about 600 New Zealand dollars, and I don't know what that is in the rest of the world. Half it for American dollars, but yeah, but that's a lot. When you buy this, you're gonna need a friend because you're gonna be overwhelmed by this amount of stuff in here.
Right,
Yeah, but that's a new one, and they've got a campaign book coming out as well for Stalingrad. So that should be an interesting city fight version of it.
You can buy that separately.
Huh? Yeah,
Does that come in the box?
No, you actually have to buy that separately. It doesn't come with the book. Oh no! I'll shut up. Stand down. I retract my sentence and say it comes with the book for free.
Well, no, you're paying £300 for it.
I'm pretty sure you're paying £300 for the giant box. You can just imagine the size of this box. Does it have a size of the box? It's going to be huge.
The Band of Brothers one, sure.
Yeah, I think it's bigger than that because it's got all that terrain in it. So it's going to be one of those hefty boxes. So shipping will be, cray. Anyway, that's it. Did Warhammer, did those guys? Anything else you guys seen lately?
I can comment on the new Adeptus Titanicus box.
Yes.
That has been out because I have purchased it.
That's a good thing. If you like it. Because I remember you weren't going to rush out and buy it until you'd seen a few games.
Yeah. So I'd seen games on YouTube and I was going to have an intro game at Club. But then there was a deal put up. Toyco, who's a toy retailer over here, had a really good price on the box set. So instead of you buy it for $250 from Games Workshop in New Zealand. Mighty Ape has it for $259. I got it from Toyco for $230 something. It was ridiculous, so good, and I picked up the last copy, which annoyed a couple of people.
Well, you snooze, you lose. Welcome to the 21st century.
That's right. I have built one of the Warhounds, and it is the same size as a Warhammer 40k Venerable Dread.
So the thing is, these toys are because I thought they were going to be 10 mil in scale, and they were going to be the same size as the old one, as did Damian. But when you showed us a picture earlier, because I don't think I'd ever seen the picture of them side by side, saying it's actually the same size as a Dreadnought, and that's just the Warhound Titan. That's not the big boy.
Yeah.
So
that's the smallest Titan in the game at the moment.
So I don't know what scale. So they're 10 mil scale, right? So what's that in 100 scales? 1
mil is 1/150. No, so 15 mils 1/100. Be 133.
133. That doesn't sound right.
Until 133.
No. Look at this. 10 millimeter scale is 1/185th.
It's the other way. Go back the other way, Greg. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so about 1/200 scale. So about 12 mil scale is 1/185th. So yeah, that'll be the. That'll be the buildings you'll need to buy for it, kind of thing.
These things are massive.
Yeah, so they're pretty huge, and I imagine the cities around them that they have would look kind of cool, you know.
Oh yeah. The
terrain,
that's what that are out. Yeah, the kits that are out look pretty cool, but you could use Drop Zone Commander terrain or old Epic terrain if you had that lying around.
Wouldn't the old Epic terrain be kind of out of scale, or they just bought the? Because
it would be slightly too small. So if you had the buildings from the original, it would be small. The original Adeptus Titanicus box, which had the polystyrene terrain in it, that polystyrene terrain works quite well. Ash on GMG has used that terrain with his AT games, and it looks okay.
Okay, well that's good. It's a good thing to know. It's
at that scale that you can sort of use. I wouldn't use 15 mil buildings unless they were sort of tall stuff, but you could get away with it.
That's good. interesting and good to know. But yeah, just looking at it, it's like, whoa, those are huge. Like they fit, like they're hefty looking models, and that was just a warhound. Because I was looking at the way people were painting these, and I saw transitions with airbrushes that I know you can't do at that small scale because it's near impossible, and all the weathering and stuff. I was like, that's really hard to do at like a scale of the old one. I mean, you could do it if you're a really good painter, but a lot of people were doing it. Excuse me. But yeah, it was like, wow. So, but now I know that these miniatures are actually not that miniature. It gives me hope that I can, get myself some and then like, walk around with big stompy robots. Although down yonder we like playing with 1-to-1 scale, which is a bit scary when people bring out their Warlord Titans into a 30k game.
He's got a 1-to-1 scale Warlord Titan.
Yeah, boy. Got a Warlord.
It's not 1-to-1 scale.
Oh, sorry, not 1-to-1 scale, but sorry,
Yeah.
that'd be a bit large. It's like, I got a 1-to-1 scale one. It's like, you're pretty sure you can see that from space? It's like, no, we've got a Warhammer sized one, so they're pretty big. Yeah.
I think Titanicus is so we're using it alongside the 30k campaign that we're in the middle of at the moment up here, and I think it sort of fits quite nicely in with 30k. So if you're playing 30k, you should probably think about playing AT as well. I mean, I haven't had a game yet, but it's a pretty simple game from what I can see. Even a noob like me can pick it up.
Oh goodness! All right, that's decent. I might give it a try, but some things with these new Games Workshop games is they tend to, except for Blood Bowl, they tend to diverge a lot from the way they used to be, which is, we're all after that nostalgia of thing, but I don't know because I never really played Epic properly, so
yeah.
It could be exactly the same. People would have to school me on it, but it's Adeptus Titanicus. It's not actually Epic yet.
It's not the same as the old Adeptus Titanicus either.
No, okay, so it's probably a bit more fairer. Other than that, that's noob news over. Normally at this part we'd go into an ad and there'd be all sorts of fun stuff, but not now. Because we're just going to make it flow into the second part, which is talking about club and whatnot.
To be fair, that was the second time we did do part one because of technical difficulties on Dan's end.
Technical difficulties, aka forgot to use the right microphone.
Hey, Dan, are you still there?
I'm still here.
It's gone to sleep.
You didn't type up about your not just true scale warhounds, so I was just wondering whether or not you'd gone to sleep or.
Oh, I just decided not to have my rant since you guys shat on me so much the first time I went through it, but that's cool. Carry on.
It's good. Know your place. It's good. Know your place, bitch. That's where you belong. Greg, quick question for you: Is there a cricket in your house or something?
There's a cricket outside my house.
Okay, that explains the noise. I thought you were literally playing with bells or something, but every time you talk, that cricket is going bananas. All right.
Yeah, I can't get to him.
No, I know. All right, cool.
It's
So he's a contributor. See, Damian, even the cricket contributes more than you.
Stuff.
Good.
So talk to
That's
me.
right.
Oh, how about I talk about my club, because I know you're just going to talk about 30k because we've already done this bit. So we've recently gotten more interested in Kill Team. It was hummed and hard and poo-pooed on because we play a lot of 30 club. Oh Jesus, 30k down yonder. 30 club. We play a lot of 30k down here, and we've been playing a lot of that. And I just had to wait to repair my Warsmith on account of he got dead, and he's coming back as a dreadnought. So he had a bit of an accident involving a grumpy custodes, and he murdered him. So that was not ideal. And he died at the end of the game, and it's like, oh, first outing, and then he's dead. Not cool, bro. So yeah, I have to rebuild him as a dreadnought, and I'm like, oh, I'll just go get my dreadnought. And it's like, oh, I don't have any dreadnoughts, so I've got to wait for dreadnoughts. And of course, worldwide shipping has been an issue.
What kind of dreadnought do you need? What kind of dreadnought do you
Just need? A regular one, the Contemptor ones, not the plastic ones.
Contemptor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, I have to wait for that. So that's cool. And then in the meantime, we did a weekend where we went around to someone's house and did some beers and some painting, as we do. We have a beers and painting kind of thing going on, which is quite cool. And they were playing Kill Team then. I was like, oh yeah, show me more. And I watched Tyranids versus Orcs, and I was like, oh yeah, interesting. And the game was pretty fun, pretty cool, light-hearted, not too super serious, but it can be super serious, as we found out on Thursday when like someone bought Tau, and it's like, oh great, someone's being that guy, and by God, they were playing a dick list if ever I saw one. Yeah, Tau get a lot of shots. Would you believe it? They get to shoot so much in this game.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh cool, well at least they can't pass off the wounds onto their stupid gun drones, because they're gun drones, not shield drones. But they were gun drones, but they're still drones, and you can still pass them off onto drones. So it was like, oh, that's cool. So yeah, I watched what do you call those guys? The Space Marines with the silver shoulder pads.
Those guys.
Iron Hands?
No, Deathwatch. Watch Deathwatch get like absolutely curb stomped. So that was not ideal for that player there.
My kill team's a Deathwatch kill team.
Yeah, well, I watched one get murdered by Tau. And then I watched another game, which was Alpha Legion, Chaos Space Marines versus Sisters of Battle.
Yeah.
And I watched the Chaos player not use any of his command points at all until we got to the end, and then re-rolled 1, and then got a 1 with it anyway. But the Alpha Legion just went up the table and shat all over the Sisters of Battle.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, oh, hang on. Like, shat on them.
No, like, shot them with melter guns and then rocked up and killed them with chain fists and whatnot. You know, just Alpha Legion stuff. Yep, and I'm busy working on my one, because remember I painted those old Legion of the Damned miniatures for the thing, and I was like, god damn, converting a whole, Space Marine army into that. I was like, oh, well, you know what would be better if I just painted, a handful of them. So I'm making like a Primaris Strike Force Legion of the Damned for Kill Team. So far it looks pretty cool. I haven't played the game yet, so I've got to do that at some stage, probably weekend after, because I'll be busy this weekend. And we'll see how it goes, and watch me get murdered first turn and be all sad. But other than that, club plays a lot of games. There's a lot of magic that goes on in the corner, and board games, and loads of Dungeons and Dragons. There's like 2 or 3 Dungeons and Dragons groups, which is like crazy. But people like their D&D.
That's not my thing at the moment. I have played it before, so it's good that it's still quite well received. How long does a club meeting last for down there?
From about say about 5 to about 10, maybe 11 sometimes.
Okay, so there's a decent amount of time to get some dungeoneering in then.
Yeah, it's. I don't think they do it all at the club. I think that's just where some people go on the Wednesday, but then most of the time, folks do it in their like little houses and things like that. I don't know why I said little houses.
They do it in private when no one can see them.
No one can see them in public.
No one can see them in public.
But it was quite funny. Like a normal female human showed up in her like ute, like her rural ute, and she's like, "Oh, is this where?" She didn't talk like a bloke, obviously. And she's like, "Is this where the Dungeons and Dragons is?" And like, oh yeah, and someone took it because they keep the D&D people in a back room.
Fair enough.
No one can see them in public.
Yeah, it's literally like there's another part of the club. It's like a darts room.
Yes.
And you know how dimly lit those are, so that's where they go and play Dungeons and Dragons. So it's they take them out the back in the dark, and that's where they play D&D.
That's where they slip
so immersive. So they put on their wizard hat and robe.
One lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt. That's a +3 to my save, and I've got to do a charisma check, which I'll easily pass on account of my bonuses, because I'm a paladin.
It's not how it works.
It is. Charisma checks, biatch. That's how you do it.
Not near.
Or just do what I do and choose bureaucracy. Yeah. Would you like to talk technical? Because I can talk technical all day. Would you like to talk about shipping and bureaus of shipping? Because I can talk about shipping and bureaus of shipping until your ears fall off, Stormtrooper. Oh, that was a fun time.
Take a rogue with absolutely nothing in dexterity and load it all up in charisma. And then just when you keep getting caught, then you just bluff your way out of it.
See, Dave, this is why you don't let Damian play with you, because it's like it's dumb. So
you can do whatever the hell you want in D&D. It's all good.
Yeah. It's like, are you gonna fight this guy? It's like, no, I'm just gonna talk to this orc, see what he says.
What he says, hey, it's up, bro.
Just rocks up. It's like, here's a gold coin. If you kill these guys and leave me alone, sweet as.
Bro, I'll get halves with
I'll split their loot. I'll split their loot with you.
Bro.
I don't think you're on a fail checks in my D&D games.
Yeah, your D&D games are scary. It's like, oh, cool. It's like, all right, so like everyone's playing a paladin. It's like, how did that happen? Bad rolls all around. And then instead of being like Dungeons and Dragons and shit, you're like, oh, you're in an actual historic setting. It's like, lame. And magic is frowned upon. It's like, even lamer. It's like, and if you reveal yourself to be a dragon person, you'll be in the shit. It's like, jeez Louise. It's like, and two of us are like, what are they called? Not dragon people. Dragonborn. Yeah, two of us Dragonborn. So it's like, oh, we just better just be human then and see how this goes. Bloody hell. And then I think Mark got his hand cut off because he's, Mark. And it's
I like Mark.
It's like, of course.
Chop.
Of course.
He was about to lose other things.
He was, but it's like, god damn it, Mark being like the fanatical zealot. It's like, oh, cool. You
basically sounds like real life for him.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. It's like, Mark, you're playing a prick like you do in real life. You don't.
You got your hand chopped off.
This is role playing. You don't have to be a cock and role playing. It's like, I know you're like this all the time.
You lost your hand. What a surprise!
I mean, he hasn't lost his hand in real life, but it's like, given the way he acts, fucking hell. I'm surprised. I suppose he hasn't like failed. Like he literally failed every charisma check there was you could possibly like even pass. He failed.
In real life.
It's like charisma, buddy.
You bastards!
We're picking on Mark. It's fun.
Yeah,
but it was so funny because all I know he's going to tell me is just to shut up, Dan, or fuck up, Dan, as he always does. Because it's like, it was basically a game of always do the opposite of what Mark does, as in what we do in real life. Yes. That saying. But it was the exact same thing. He managed to get himself captured, imprisoned, tortured, hand removed. Meanwhile, I rock up to the camp. It's like, hello, what's going on here? Bluff, 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 bluff. I'm not in a cage. Cool. And then the other guy managed to sabotage some cannonballs. And then,
my God.
I know. And then we sailed away on a boat, because Constantinople was going to fall. So we were like, peace out, guys. Enjoy your conversion to Islamic. What is it? Islam. Yeah. So, yeah. Enjoy your conversion, boys. We're off to, Italy. Go do some chicks. Yeah. So that was fun, D&D. Next time, more dragons, less holy war.
More holy war.
Oh, God. It's like, now they're coming to Spain. It's like, oh, what did we holiday in Spain for?
No, I've got a thing about the Portuguese invasion of Morocco, so it's probably going to be there.
Oh, the revenge! We're coming back to take Morocco. Someone get me a fizz. Where was we? What were we talking? What are you doing at your club, Greg? Yeah, Greg.
All we're doing is playing 30k at the moment, mate. So, games that we're playing at the moment, we got 30k. So last club was 30k. So we're in the middle of the 30k campaign, as I said. So traders, I think, are slightly ahead at the moment, but we've got a big 10-person meeting this week. So 10 people playing 30k at club this weekend. Which is pretty cool.
There is actually this weekend an even bigger event, which is 30k based, I think, as well. It's in Cromwell, but it's not a publicized event, if that makes it sound weird. So there's this guy whose parents own a vineyard, and he has this like massive set of rooms and stuff, like 18 bed accommodation plus more. So all these Warhammer nerds from around here, and I think Dunedin, and I think some from Christchurch. I'm not 100% sure on that. They rock up and they just play, a weekend full of games and drinking, much like our Panzerschreck, except on a violent drinking level, like a young.
And when you're all down there, do you become card carrying members of the South Island independence movement?
I don't know, because I haven't been to that. I haven't gone to that yet. And
But when you go and come back and start spouting off, South Island independence movement stuff.
I think you'll find that the South Island independence retard movement is based in Christchurch, home of New Zealand's racists. I don't think any of them really live here. But, I could be mistaken, because I don't really talk to people, because on account of they're all a bit bumpkiny. Anyway, enough shitting on my my townsfolk. It's actually to be honest, the South Island independence people are probably based in Gore. Gore and Christchurch. It sounds like it's like, we want to be separated from New Zealand. It's like, why? Because we're independent. It's like, why? Because we don't like foreigners. It's like, just say you're racist. It's way easier, you dickheads.
Stop beating around the bush.
Just get to the point. Just say you don't like brown people. God damn it. Because that's what they mean. I'm calling them out. It's like, we're not going to agree with it. You're going to agree with the Treaty of Waitangi, which guarantees. Oh, which tribe owns the South Island? Damian, help me.
Hello.
Worst Maori ever.
Somebody.
I can't remember which one, but not them. So those
Atifatua or something. I don't know.
The Whitey movement's going to have a bit of trouble doing it. So. All they really should just do is stick to voting national and destroying our stocks of juvenile fish. Yay. Thanks, guys. White baiting for life, right? Idiots.
So we play a whole heap of 30k. And there's also Legion being played as well. The Legion is still going quite well outside. There's some beginner games and the rest going on there. Art de la Guerre is being played. It's quite a number of people playing that. So I'm in the middle of finishing off my 100 Years War English Army at the moment, so I can start getting some more games in there. And Lord of the Rings as well. Lots of people playing Lord of the Rings. So that's the next army after I finish my Art de la Guerre and my Word Bearers that I'll probably start working a bit more on.
Did more dry brushing.
More dry brushing on the 30k army that you're never going to play.
Have you not played a game yet?
No.
Why not? Oh, because you never show up to club.
Oh, I show up.
I've
turned up to the last 3 clubs.
What do you just sit in the corner?
They only have layers of grey on them. You've got to put the 4th layer of grey on them before they can be table ready.
People cannot believe that I've basically sprayed them in a dark grey and then taken them back to sprue grey.
It's
and they go, "Have you
already
actually
did that before?" That
that
was your
doing it
color.
again.
Oh my god! So that was
great.
That was your color combination for your space sharks.
I go, "Where's all your colours?" And I'm going, "Well, they are space sharks."
Yeah. It's like, what color are they? Sprue grey. GG, guys.
Grey.
Top
And
word.
they go, "Did you actually paint this?" And I go, "Yeah, I put like 4 layers on, man.
Sprue.
There's more than one colour on there."
Amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, that's that. I guess that's all we do at club. Anything else you can think of? I don't know anything else.
I can't think of anything else.
Got too political. Right, let's talk. Let's crack on and talk to Dave now. So, as hello, Dave. Welcome to your part. This is your time to shine.
Yeah.
Finally.
Excellent.
You're gonna shine like a diamond.
So, as
Shine
you
like a diamond.
people are aware on the internet, a game exists called Bolt Action. We've all talked about it before. It currently consists of Bolt Action, World War II. I think there's some sort of mods for World War I, and of course there's a Korean package, which, as all things with Korea, will be forgotten about or ignored because it's not as fun as Bolt Action World War II or what Dave's written, which is
Bolt Action Vietnam.
Oh yeah, get some. So I'm just going to try and lead in with fun questions that I haven't prepared at all in advance. So what made you want to do Bolt Action Vietnam there, Dave?
Well, I had a few plastic sprues of the Warlord Japanese sitting around, and just kind of looking through a few Vietnam pictures and thought, hey, you could probably, under the right light, probably get one of these Japanese guys to look about right for an MVA.
Okay.
So tried a quick conversion with some War Games Factory Apocalypse, Zombie Apocalypse weapon sprues.
Oh yes, I know those
And
ones.
Good.
came out pretty good.
Okay.
And how did you go about, like, because bolt action is a quite a good frame for any game of its, like, sorry, I'll start that again. Bolt action is a good frame for itself. So when you get to Vietnam, I'm assuming everything remains infantry, gun, light, medium, heavy tank, or are there some changes?
Yeah. So actually, there's very few rule changes that have to be done. The main thing is probably the tanks, because you have to downgrade the armor and guns, so that when you have a T-3485, that has to run as a light tank with a medium anti-tank gun, just to fit in the upper echelon tanks.
So why does it have to fit in the T-3485? Sorry.
That's because it goes right up to the Centurion, which is heavy tank, heavy anti-tank gun.
Oh, okay. So
And then of course there's heavier tanks beyond that, but essentially what we did with those armor rules and the gun rules and so forth was make sure that they fit in, all the way up to the modern era as well, so that the even bigger tanks should be able to fit in there. Okay.
Tell me, what did you do with helicopters?
Cool. So with helicopters, so this is a bit we worked on quite heavily. So a lot of people were talking about using helicopters similar to any other tank or vehicle. When in actual fact, there's the additional warplane rules. So we utilize them to create transport helicopters. For the attack helicopters, that's just warplane rules, pretty basic. But with the transport helicopters, what we did is that rather than giving an aiming point, it was a landing point. And as soon as the helicopter landed, it would become a stationary vehicle, open top stationary Armour 7 vehicle.
Cool.
When it was in the air, so you'd have your reaction fire in the air, it was then just a warplane, so Armour 7. But if it was knocked out of the sky, everything on board would be eliminated.
Whoa.
Wow.
Fair though, very fair.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense, right? You're shooting it down and there's nothing there. That's
In testing, how many slicks do you lose?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. You'd lose a fair number, but you just have to learn to place. Because the thing is that assault rifles can't react to firing at warplanes because they're under 24 inch. So the main thing that you're about to hit them with is the RPGs.
Oh.
So I can talk about how we looked at RPGs as well, because they're quite interesting.
Please do.
Yeah, no worries. So the main thing with RPGs is essentially you'd want them to work like the Panzerschreck. So essentially a two-man team. Obviously, in this context, they're fitted into the squads and so forth. But you'd also want to be able to give them split fire, so they've had to have that rule. But also, you'd want to be able to give them the ability to air units. So their range is fine, Panzerschreck, 24-inch, cool. And so what we counted them as was small arms. So small arms with that range can hit air units. So it was a good, great way of adapting little bits of special rule to fit in with the Vietnam scene and build these specific units.
Just looking at the rules here now, and I can just sort of see the like on the weapon, exactly what you're talking about on the weapon reference chart here. So, yeah, pretty interesting.
For is it the RPG 7, Greg? Is that the right one, or is it an RP?
It'll be an RPG 7 in Vietnam.
Is that the one that has two different types of ammunition? The fragmentation and the the
copper one,
the anti-tank one. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's the RPG 9. I could be wrong about that though.
Yeah. Is there just one stat for the RPG in that game?
I'll go on because there's the RPG. They also had it earlier on the RPG 2 as well. Yeah. So just the one stat.
Oh, okay. And what was I going to say? Is it more than one use, I assume?
Yeah.
It comes like a bazooka then, right? Or a Panzerschreck.
But it just fits into the unit.
Oh yeah. So and it's just one per unit, or is it you can get a scary amount of them?
Yeah, that kind of segues onto unit construction as well, because that is quite different in VC on the Trail in Vietnam. But yeah, it's essentially one per unit, and that's broken down into one per cell unit, one per unit of 3 cells. So if you want, I can lead on to unit construction, because that's different as well. So the main difference with bolt action, with the Vietnam War in general, is that you have the prominence of fire teams and cells. So the fire teams in the Allied armies and cells in the Red armies. So with bolt action Vietnam, a fire team will consist of at least 4 people. The recommended number for a unit would be 10, which would be made up of 2 fire teams and a command, and it kind of changed around a little bit, but that was how a general unit looked. But in Vietnam, they're actually lucky to scrape together 8 guys to go out on a mission in one unit. So with our rules, it gives you the option to break it down into the fire team, start off with, so 4 men in a unit for the allies. And so for the Reds, you have cells. So the Soviet doctrine that they followed was called the Circle of 3, which is 3 men in a cell, 3 cells in a unit, 3 units in a platoon, and it builds up from there. Now, the reason they did this is that the 3 men at the very core of the cell were heavily interlaced with each other politically and socially, so that they'd essentially sleep very close, eat very close. If one of them got out of line, the other 2 would correct him.
Red.
And you can see it. You can really see it within the whole structure of the North Vietnamese army in the VC and obviously the NVA. And so with our rules, you can field the minimal of 3-man cell as a unit.
I'm looking at it here. I mean, there's a potential there, even if you're building, say, so I'm looking at the NVA supported infantry platoon here, where you have to have a command team and 2 infantry squads, but you can have up to 6 other infantry squads as well. So you could have 8 3-man squads plus your command, giving you 9 dice for what is probably not a lot of points. 21 points for an NVA rifle section if they're inexperienced.
What? And you get 9 dice?
So it's 21 points per 3-man squad. You'd have 8 3-man squads
per 3-man squad. Okay, yeah.
So that's 168 points plus your command team minimum, maybe 35 points for a junior lieutenant. Right now, you're playing 1,000. So that leads on how many points is a standard game here, Dave?
So we'd actually play with a lot less points because of the use of assault rifles. So your standard looking 1,000 point game would actually be a bit closer to only about 700 points.
Sure, okay. But even so, you've got 8 3-man squads in now. Sure, 3-man squads are going to die quick, but 8 3-man squads plus your thing for 200 points, and you've got 9 dice with 500 points left to spend.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Jeepers creepers. That's a lot of dice. But then it's like it's just like, you know, the garbage guys will they move?
It's inexperienced MVA.
Yeah.
That are, and there's only 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
So
they're gonna get shot and just be pinned forever and vanish in one round of shooting. But there's gonna be so many of them.
all of them.
Yeah, exactly. You can't shoot all of them.
Yeah, yeah. But what you will also notice is all the armor is heavily upgraded. So how I was talking about armor and gun values before, there's actually a lot more machine guns just around the place. So, you know, your ACAV, your M103 ACAV has 3 machine guns on it.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
Wait till you get the Australian one, which has the little turret on it. Ooh.
With the minigun.
The little fire support vehicle that the Australians had.
Oh yeah.
It's like a baby tank. Those are crazy. Or an actual tank, or a Walker Bulldog. The amount of machine guns on that would just, yeah. So even though you'd be outnumbered, you have the firepower to make, you know, delete units, I imagine, as a allied army.
absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, ARs definitely make up their weight and points when it comes to that smaller scale as well.
Be interesting to try. And you recommend, and you've been following and posting the last couple of days, Empress Miniatures, doing their Vietnam thing.
Yep, so they're just rounding off their Americans and MVA, and they're about to start on the Anzacs, which is really cool. And also another big manufacturer I've just seen released on the 3rd of this month. Their, what did they call it? It was their attack on the US Embassy Americans during the Tet Offensive.
Oh yeah,
that's a quite nice pack.
That's pretty cool. Very cool.
So, in terms of the rules being out there, Dave, are they out for public use at the moment?
Yeah, so I've actually just posted on the Discord in the bolt action section around the downloads. So our last release was at the start of February, I think. And yeah, it's just free. Go download it, try it out. You know, if you like bolt action, it's easy enough to proxy some guys in and give it a play. And of course, one thing about bolt action Vietnam and Vietnam itself is the South Vietnamese army using a lot of old World War II gear.
So they did all the BARs and Thompsons and things that they got handed down.
Yeah, Greyhounds and Chaffies. Cool stuff.
Awesome stuff. Greg, no doubt we'll put that up on the Bell Facebook page for everyone else to download from them.
Absolutely.
So this is obviously a fan made thing at the moment. Have you been in contact with like Warlord about it? Have they been in contact with you?
No contact from Warlord. They don't want to know. That's all right.
Oh, sad.
I can talk about how I made it. So Mark Hazel actually encouraged me just go and produce the rules. You know, we had a look at a bit of a Flames of War book.
Yep.
Around how they position the Vietnam stuff, and then we had a few other firefight different Vietnam rule sets that I've got hanging around, and I started developing them out. And even though I'm the main author and Mark has been a massive help behind the scenes, we've actually got quite a large team. So other than that, there's a guy in Perth, Jacob Bongers, who does the media side of it, the community side of it, and so that's been really helpful because I don't have to worry about that. And he just goes and caretakers the websites and so forth, and that's been great. And then we've actually got an officer core team of about 7 guys.
Bloody hell.
And from all over the world, UK, America, Australia, New Zealand, and with these guys, we spent many hours discussing extremely small little incidental things. But it's enabled us to really drive the community gaming and so forth, and really enabled us to be really mindful of how we point and scale the rules.
I butt in here for a second because I've been rather
Fuck, you still
quiet.
here?
Yeah, man. What you're saying is it really reminds me of when I came in on board with Flames of War with the playtesting many moons ago, not too long after version 1, and they were thinking about version 2. So I jumped into version 2, and I ended up with a couple of groups in the States and a group in England through some guys that I contacted, and they were doing rather much like the same stuff. So when version 2 came out, it really did feel like a community-based rule set for Flames of War. And then as it progressed, of course, into version 3 and got bigger and bigger and stuff like that, groups fell away, and then it got more structured, more rules came in, and yeah.
The internet was invented, and Damian didn't have to send telegrams to the other playtesters to tell them how to do their game, and carrier pigeons didn't show up to their houses with the latest rule set and updates.
I mean, it's such a fantastic way of getting all sorts of different points of view from around the world and just throwing them in together. It really does work. You can dig out the good from the bad, I guess, but there's really not that much bad. There's really not that much bad in this sort of way of doing it. It's just you get the best bits. Yeah,
and the thing is, you can give your points and figure out where the support is for your points and so forth. And, it's good, but it does mean that it's a community rule set, which means that I think generally companies want to stay away from us, and we've had a few of those experiences, which is sad, but it's the nature of it.
Yeah, but the thing is, you want to make your rule set, the one to play, but they sell miniatures for it.
That's the one.
Like the most places that make miniatures don't exactly. They just make miniatures because that's what they do. The ones who make money sell the rule sets to go with their miniatures, like Battlefront and Bolt Action.
I guess I was quite lucky when I did it because I got full blessing from Battlefront to actually hunt down these groups and get them started. So we all fell under the umbrella. We'd actually had the company behind us before it began. That's what made it a lot easier, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'd say so. Absolutely.
Yeah, all you need to do is just pull yourself up by your bootstraps like Damian did and become make an international playtesting group that was aligned to the company. Easy peasy, right, Damien?
Well, I was lead playtester for a while, and then we ended up having kids and stuff. And
400 years ago, I was the lead playtester, and your planes could bomb your own units, and that was a great idea. Oh, yes, it was.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
That's god awful idea. I only hated it because it always happened to me.
But I guess the nice thing it's all about the day and age of this technology, not in Fourscore like Damian's talking about.
Don't you start? Good stuff.
But printing, massive. 3D printing is huge now, and especially for the Vietnam War. So you just need to buy your infantry. There's a lot of files out for printing, and a massive site that we're partnering with is Wargaming 3D, which is specific around supplying STLs for printing for war games. And they've just started an infantry section, and they've got a few really cool stuff. I think they did Vietnam American Rangers, which is really cool.
Wicked.
Yeah, now there's a Kiwi involved in the Wargaming 3D, of course, old Michael Early, and he was part of the Wargaming group that I was with years ago, like Ham Sandwich, one of Francis's mates, and he used to turn up and we'd play games all the time. So yeah, and I mean Mike's a really good guy. He's onto it with 3D printing. He just loves it.
Yeah,
He really does.
So yeah, we're both supporting each other massively with this, and you know, like Dan said, you know, you just you find different ways to support these kind of games. But yeah, so that's been a massive help, and printing.
I'm just looking at the Empress Miniatures Vietnam War range. These miniatures are absolutely gorgeous.
So good.
Are ridiculously, like, the detail on them, even for 28mm, is outstanding. And you're paying £7 for 4 guys by the looks of things, but you don't really need a lot of guys for Vietnam. So I think it works out somewhat cost effective.
Yeah.
Just having a look at it. Oh wow, their stuff that they've got on their Facebook banner looks awesome.
Yeah, and if you're looking to buy the vehicles, they do very, very nice Vietnam vehicles. Actually, their pattern is amazing. So,
I'm just looking at their Ontos model, and that is super cool.
Oh, it's so cool. It's nice. It's very nice.
It's only
so
£22.
next question from me then, because my laptop looks like it's about to run out of power and I didn't bring the cord home from work. So before I bugger off, when are we going to see you at club with your rule set and getting some games in, bud?
Well, funny you should mention that. Before you see him at club, you might see him on a YouTube channel.
Ooh.
Noises.
Oh God, take your own ball gag, because Greg's one tastes horrible.
God.
Gross. When's your plan for that, fellas?
It's still in the works at the moment, so hopefully I've just got to sort out the timings with both Dave and the other player that's coming in to take part in the game.
Oh, you're not playing it?
I'll be filming the game.
Oh, fair enough.
So it'll all be shaky and out of focus, and
You're not filming. It's like half the film is your finger over the lens. It's like, oh great, old man Damian at it again.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. I've got like 2% left, so I'm going to shut my laptop down. Dave, it's been a real pleasure, mate. I really mean that. We all know my feelings on bolt action is not the best. I didn't have a good time with it, but
yep, those two games you played. Yeah.
Hey, I played a whole tournament, man.
Yep.
You've done an awesome job with it, and that's all we can ask for in the wargaming community. Is just people like you getting in there and doing the hard graft. It's fantastic. It really is.
Dad?
Yeah, you finished sucking them off? Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Screw you guys. All right, I'll see you guys later, eh?
All right, bye, Damian.
See you on Sunday, mate.
Yeah, okay, see you on Sunday. Bye.
Bye. All right, so also at the end of this is probably the end of the podcast now because Damian's gone. I've got no one really to pick on anymore. There is, as you know, we have like a bunch of advertisers at the normally in between the ad breaks, which are beautifully scheduled and all that jazz, unless you forget to record like half the podcast because you selected the wrong microphone, then you sound like an idiot. One of the sponsors is Battle Kiwi, you know them, you get BEL5, get 5% discount off their stuff. The other is Dice of War, buy all his stuff, .com.au. And the other is Titan Terrain. Now, he put up a message the other day saying that... I wish that dog would shut up. He put up a message the other day basically saying, he's going to shut it down, going to mothball it because he's got a job now. Because he was a student slash a grad student slash working at the same time. And, of course, that was... what's the word? That was a bit taxing to do this as well as, make all the laser cut terrain that he does. So I, as you guys said, it's like, why didn't you ask him how much it would cost to buy him? So I asked him how much it cost to buy him. We worked out a price, and long story short, we'll be completing a contract and things, and I'll be taking over Titan Terrain and learning how to use lasers.
Congratulations! Look at you getting a real job.
Yeah, a real job. That's what this is. A real job with frickin' lasers. So that should be.
You know what you should do? You should start laser cutting Vietnam terrain.
What, like palm trees and stuff?
Oh, like
hard to
paddy
do that.
fields and shit.
Paddy field, like cut a square, you mean? You're not very good at your Vietnam terrain. It's like, yeah, just cut some squares and some palm trees. Like, all right,
Hugh, Battle of Hugh stuff.
Battle of Hugh stuff.
City.
See, look, there's some smart intro. See, guy who knows things. Yes, but I also will need to learn a bit more in the old design thing. Anyways, that's for future talks. Join us on the next podcast when I freak out about how to use these things and do these things. Yes, because it will be the adventures of Dan and his laser. How do I make it work? Or why am I blind now? You know, either one. Stay tuned.
Where's my fingers gone?
It's like, why do I only have? Oh, it'd be sweet if I get an eye patch. Like it burns, like does that cool scar down the side of the face. I lose an eye. I'm like, yeah, how'd you lose your eye? I'm like, laser fight.
Yeah, that'll go in real well if you down in the South Island. They're already all one-eyed down there anyway.
Yep, one-eyed, 6 fingers, mutants. Yar, welcome to the fold, and they can go to bluff with the rest of the mutants. Anyway. I think that's enough for us, boys. You got a good hour of us. Would have been like an hour and a half had we not deleted accidentally. Yeah, I screwed up. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Remember, like, subscribe. We've got a YouTube channel. We've got a Facebook thing. There's an Instagram. You can all search for it. If you see Owen Wilson, you've gone too far.
Big time.
Yep. Anyway, all right. Thanks for joining us, Dave. As Damian said in big heartfelt words, thanks for coming in to stopping by and talking about Vietnam, the bolt action. It just seems very interesting. Greg cannot wait to record it, apparently, and maybe even play it, but that means Greg would need to buy more things and paint more things, and he'd be seriously stressed.
I happen to know someone who may have 3 armies already.
Well, there you go. Anyway, thanks for listening. Listen to our ads. They're at the end, but not in the middle. Have a nice life. Toodaloo. Good night,
Guys.
everyone. Need tokens, terrain, or custom battlefield accessories? BattleKiwi.com has you covered. With a wide range of laser cut MDF and acrylic, it has something to suit everyone's wargaming needs. Ranging from the battlefields of World War II to the far future of Infinity, BattleKiwi.com has it all. Visit BattleKiwi.com, and for a 5% discount, use the code BEL5. Dice of War. Dice of War supply custom and historical wargaming dice and accessories. Unique designs to suit your gaming requirements. Visit the online store today at diceofwar.com.au. Danger! Danger! Is your battlefield in need of terrain? Visit titanterrain.nz. They've got all the laser cut MDF terrain from historical, modern, and futuristic. Visit titanterrain.nz or follow them on Facebook.